What's going on YouTube? Welcome to another video. The reason that you see me in the last few videos in this is because when you're watching these, I'm not here. I'm in the mountains somewhere camping. So before we start, go follow me on Instagram if you want to see what I'm like, not on these videos, or when I'm live streaming you want to check out my life. I would be happy to interact with you guys there, or just interact on the Discord. The link for Discord is in the description. Message me on Instagram. The URL is just my name, literally. Anyways, so this video is answering a question. This is a question that I get a lot. It's in combination with another similar question. Let me just go ahead and tell you what it is. It's, what skills do I need to learn to get my foot in the door, and what do I do after I learn the basics? So let's back up, and we need to answer a couple more questions before I can give you the answer to that. There's not always a specific something like that's hard-coded. So number one question you need to ask yourself: who is employing around me? Do I want to work for somebody? Do I want to be freelance? Do I want to work for myself? And what are the tech stacks that the companies around me are using? And I would suggest that is what you learn. So if you go on Glassdoor and you type in your zip code, you're going to see a bunch of places around you, a bunch of jobs around you. You need to get a notepad and a pen and start taking notes of what is hiring. Like just do an average. You'll see that some companies are using Angular or Rails or PHP or React, probably React or Python, since those seem to be the most popular right now. But that's what you need to do. You need to make a list and decide, just do the math. If you want to work there, if you want to work remote, your chances of being employed with the basics have just got a lot harder. I'm not going to say your chances are lower. I'm just going to say you're going to have to put in a lot more work or get lucky. But luck is when preparation meets opportunity. So, put in the work beforehand. Preparation meets opportunity. You're lucky. At least that's what people define luck as. Oh, you just got so lucky. No, I was prepared, and there was an opportunity, and so they mixed, and I got this awesome job. But because you don't do anything and you're looking from an outside perspective, it looks like luck. All right, side Joshua Robbins, back to this. So you need to have a notepad. You need to do the average of what companies around you are hiring, and then pick a framework after the basics. And I keep saying the basics. What I mean by basics is HTML, JavaScript, CSS. Okay, that's not hard. Those are for front-end positions. This is what people typically learn anyways. So you should probably ask yourself, do you want to do front-end? Because this is almost what every code site says. All right, JavaScript, HTML, CSS. Well, why is that? Those are because they're, come on. Those websites it's because these languages are tangible. Like you can make a change and you can see something immediately on the web page. With Ruby or Python or C++, something like that, you're going to sit in a black MS-DOS terminal like this, and it's not going to be fun. At least if you're a visual person, it's not fun. If you want to learn how to code, you might be like, well, when would I ever use this? Why do people get paid so much money to type this in? If you're a visual person like me, JavaScript, HTML, CSS are usually good to go. You could also try Python. Python has a lot of utility. When I say utility, with Python, you can do desktop apps, you can do machine learning, you can do AI, you can do hardware automation with like Raspberry Pis and stuff, you can make web apps. So Python has a lot of utility, and it all stems from like one syntax pretty much. JavaScript also has a lot of utility and it's constantly growing, but specifically for web apps and mobile applications, JavaScript is great. Now that just, you got to decide if you're a visual person or a non-visual learner and you like the logic behind things and you don't mind staring at a console. And maybe clearly my bias is coming through. I just want to get to things tangible that I can make. So what do you learn after that? So I would say before that, these are the main things that you need to have before you go get your foot in the door. I'm going to talk about front end here for a second. Let's talk. So we need HTML. You need to know what boilerplate is. You need to know semantic HTML. You need to know CSS. You need to know a preprocessor with CSS, such as Sass or less. You need to know how to create responsiveness with media queries. So if you needed to create your own version of Bootstrap, you can do that. Bootstrap is just a Sass library or a CSS library of classes that you paste onto your elements in HTML. So you need to know one of those. And for JavaScript, you need to know at least know jQuery. I think jQuery is like a must-have. People say it's outdated. It is outdated, you're right, but it's simple to use, and a lot of companies still use it, surprisingly. I know it's not what's hot, but it's what's used, and that's just how it is. Sometimes it's not worth the company's time or effort to go and transfer away from a popular language like that. Or it's not even a language, it's a library. It's not in the company's interest, it takes too much time, takes too much resources, just make it work, get it done. That's what companies care about overall. So jQuery, I would recommend that you learn it. I would say get comfortable with Axios. Axios is a really popular library for doing AJAX calls. So when you send a request to get some data from an API, when you post some data to an API, get familiar with that. I would say get familiar with the Chrome extension of Postman. Postman basically lets you set up a fake API, and you can make sure that you put in your URL correctly in your code, and then you click the submit button, assuming you're doing a post, and you submit some info somewhere. It will say successfully received or bad, or you need a token for the encryption or validation, or a secret password or whatever. So get yourself the Postman extension. That's a good for the Georgia's coming out. That's a popular one. And then after that, I would say that you 100% need to know Git and how to upload your files to Git I can't say every single place because it's not true. I've worked at places without version control, but you need to know version control, and you need to have the basic understanding of what Agile is. You need to know that there is a backlog and a to-do and an in progress, and then ready for release and testing, and then release, and not specifically in that order. I mixed the last two, but you need to know those concepts as soft skills as well. I would say get comfortable with algorithms. So the videos that I've been making, What's the Trick Saturdays, bubble sort, BizBuzz, and then an array flattener. That's what I did. That was a hard one. So you need to get familiar with these, nested for loops, stuff like that. That's just for the interview. You're probably not going to actually apply that. And then you're going to need something that I can't tell you what to study. You're going to need some drive, and you're going to need to know that when you get your first job, you're going to hit a wall. It's inevitable. And when you hit that wall, if you're like me, you're going to question your life choices. And you're going to get past that wall, and it's going to be fantastic for like the next 5 minutes. You're going to hit another wall. And you're going to be like, well, that lasted a whole 2 minutes. And then you're going to get past it, and you're going to hit another wall. And those walls will start to become fewer and further between each other. And every time you reach a moment where you're like, I'm stuck, I can't do this, remember that time you thought that at the last wall, I'm stuck, I can't do this. Remember that feeling right after when you did solve it? That's what you need to remember. And you've said this 1,000 times to yourself before, you're going to get over it. So I can't teach you to study that, but I guess maybe it'd be perseverance. I don't know if that's like a technical skill. I don't know how we got onto this topic, but the ability to communicate and push through. So work on a task for X amount of time. Don't be ashamed that you can't figure it out, but don't work on it all day long without asking for help. Set a time limit, go work on it, and then if you can't figure it out, go ask. But I would say that these are skills, right? But they're not direct libraries. I would say the libraries are the ones that you need to have. Let's jump back to the technical skills for a second. I think that you need to know databases, at least just basic database structure, like a unified UML diagram is what it's called. Just when you have a company or a service with a backend, you need to know how to set up those databases from scratch. Like how are they connected? What are the relationships? You need to know the basics, like primary keys, foreign keys, CRUD functionality. You need to know multiplicity, a junction table, probably some inner join, a left inner join. I would say those are what you need to know as far as backend. Those are pretty common. And then maybe a little bit of DevOps, of connecting to an AWS server and figuring out how that stuff is working, or setting up a DigitalOcean server, possibly Firebase so that's an API and kind of like a backend. That's another thing that you could look into. But there's more than just HTML and CSS. You can get a job with that. You might not get paid a lot for that, but you can get a job for that. So I hope this video has helped you. If it has, click that little subscribe button, click the bell to get notified when I release a new video. I have a Patreon if you'd like to check out the Patreon and support the channel. The link for that is in the description below. I just want to say thank you to the patrons that we do have: Vlaslo, Louise, the Martin Fee, Joshua, DJ Richie, and Armand. I appreciate that. And everyone else, you guys help me build this computer so I can make more content for you guys on a more regular basis. And if you've ever considered donating to somebody, maybe consider me next time you do. That would be fantastic. Having said that, again, just go follow me on Instagram. You can click on what I'm doing, and I'd love to interact with you guys. So I'll see you guys in the next video.